real plan to fix the economic woes. He just does not have the skills nor the ideas or open-mindedness to solve the problems of the economy. He has padded bridal borrowing while selling it as stability and growth to an uninformed population. Imbert failed policies over the last stopped substantial inflows of foreign direct investment, more so investment outside of the energy sector. It has depreciated our TT dollar, creating a flourishing black market in US dollars and triggering a forex crisis. His policies have pushed our debt to GDP levels to jump to dangerous high new levels. His policies have continued to result in him plundering the HSF, which started way before the COVID pandemic. His policies have destroyed the independence of the central bank, killing off sensible monetary and fiscal policy. Imbert's policies have weakened our small and medium businesses, leaving them struggling to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, we all know the havoc which was brought about by the COVID-19 virus. But that pales in comparison to the utter destruction and misery brought about by the failed policies of Minister Imbert and this PNM administration. The world is now recovering from COVID, but sadly, Trinidad and Tobago is still under siege from Keith Rowley and this PNM government. My friends, Minister Imbert and the PNM will come tomorrow and blame COVID for the hardship which many of us face today. Instead of crafting economic policy to benefit the people of our country, Imbert and the PNM will instead attempt to rewrite reality, pretending that they haven't been in power for the last 7 years. Facts are stubborn things, and the fact is, Imbert and the Rowley-led PNM government crashed this economy way before COVID. One of the biggest issues facing our citizens today, and it is as a result of the failed economic policies of this finance minister, is rising and continuing unemployment. Every opportunity this government has had to take steps to improve the lives of citizens, Minister Imbert instead implemented policies that only led to more job losses. This was the case of shutting down an entire scrap iron industry because the government had no policy to deal with scrap iron thieves. Instead of dealing with the minority who engage in the illegal activity, the government chose to simply throw the entire industry on the breadline. This is another nuclear option, much like the mothballing of Petrotrin. Imbert has done nothing to safeguard and preserve jobs throughout his entire career, and more so during his stint as Minister of Finance. In fact, Imbert and the PNM continues to deny that rampant unemployment is a problem. The Ministry of Labour reports that in 5 months from July to November 2020, only 1,728 persons were retrenched. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, companies which let go fewer than 5 workers are not required to report it to the Ministry of Labour. Given how hard hit the SME retail sector has been over the past 2 years, the true jobless figures is much higher than official figures would suggest. Months after relaxing of the pandemic measures, this minister has not collected any data to determine the full extent of the impact of COVID. One can only surmise